Hi, I'm Jimmy Schaefer.
I'm Chris Caldwell.
I'm Jingong Pan.
I'm Chi-Sheng Wan.
And I am David Spencer, and we are the closers. Welcome to the conversation. For the past few weeks, our team has been talking about LMC Media, Family Theme Park, and Bell Games. Our review of Bell Games has yielded a sell recommendation. We're first going to talk about a values presentation of why we feel like this is the way to go. Then we've got an accounting of our recommendation. We've got the details of the sell. And then finally, a possible investment opportunity that our team is very excited about. The Sum of All Thrills is a roller coaster simulator that allows clients to design and ride a roller coaster of their own creation at the end of a KUKA robotic arm. And we'll learn more about this, but let's get back to Bell Games. The first option is to leave Bell Games as it is and with its current budget. After 2 years and $20 million, we have zero product. We have nothing in beta testing. We have nothing so far. To put that number in perspective, the Xbox Kinect took $500 billion in R&D to accomplish a product that is very similar to what Mark Bell is looking at. So this could add up to a significant investment. We also talked about, does it add brand value to LMC Media and Family Theme Park? Does a bloody fighting game add value to your brand? We've also talked about Mark's vision. In reviewing the documents, it didn't seem like there was anything certain there. It didn't feel like there was a product ready to be put on the market, which might have something to do with the high programmer turnover, and that costs money. So there's too many moving parts, there's too much uncertainty, not enough return. So now Peter's going to talk to you about investing in Bell Games.
If we choose to investing, let's look into what it's going to be. We found out it's a high uncertainty of the game industry. Look at this number, the decrease of the video game share, that's in $billion, from $99 billion to 88 from 2009 to 2011. There's a decrease. I mean, the gaming industry is a shift to another form of game, not a video game anymore. And also, as a LMC, we don't have experience and resources in gaming industry. In terms of the resource, not only developing of the game, but also distribution and marketing the game. We already have those resources. We have to build everything from nothing. That costs extra money. And finally, we found a tremendous high R&D cost and promotion cost. As David said, the $500 million is only only R&D costs. That's too much. And let's have Chris talk about the gaming industry numbers.
So we thought it would be for your guys' benefit to go over the current gaming industry a little bit and explain why we think that you should sell it and why it's not very profitable right now. We think that Ultimate Champion is going to turn into, well, it is a fighting game, right? It's active, it's very gross movements, it's very physical, but the market is actually shifting towards more high-tech, very fast, not so active games, things like that. Main competitors taking over 90% of the market share in the gaming industry, being Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft, are all releasing new consoles and new franchise games over the next 3 years. So even if we did choose to invest in Bell Games, this probably isn't the right time within the 2014 window. The most successful franchises from Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo are also PC games, which is what Ultimate Champion would be released for. So we believe that that game would just kind of get lost in the mix and all the hype of these new consoles and new games coming out over the next 3 years. And we determined that there's an extremely low success rate of games in the gaming industry, but an even lower success rate for games just coming in. And a couple numbers. As was said before, the Kinect motion sensor costs over $500 million in R&D alone. That is just an add-on to an already created console, whereas Mark Bell is trying to create a system in and of itself. So ideally, he would be paying more than $500 million in production, and we have it set at $80 million to finish it. The most recent Call of Duty game spent $50 million on promo alone. This is an extremely storied franchise. It's an extremely valuable franchise. So if anybody needed promo, it's probably not Call of Duty, and we had our budget set at $30 million for promo, which it's not going to be enough. Most recent Call of Duty game also earned $1 billion in revenue over the first 6 days of its release, and we had Ultimate Champion making about $180 million in its first year. And another big factor is very popular games right now are not fighting games. Only 3.7% of top sellers are fighting games. A lot of it's because the market just isn't there. You know, a lot of kids can't play these games, things like that. So if you are going to make a game, especially coming into the industry, it probably shouldn't be a fighting game right now. Now Jimmy is going to talk about some values.
Thanks, Chris. So values, like going off your values, you kind of disregard like violence. That's something you don't want to promote. And Ultimate Champions kind of contradicts that. And what we came up with is just that it promotes violence. The Ultimate Champions does. Solitary activity, so you're playing alone. You're really not engaged, and that would hinder communication. It's sedentary activity. So like, you know, it's the kind of thing that's, I don't know, it kind of goes away from your values because of what it promotes, the game. But if you lean more towards the family theme parks, you know, it promotes family. And that's something I think that's really important about your values. It's, you know, supports community, physical activity, sparks curiosity like to education, or maybe for a possible career. And so like, we go on to the investment.
We was talking about the idea of investing in the gaming industry. Let's look at the numbers. The total cost is 145, but we want to look into the additional investment number is 80. That's not enough that consider our research. And the future sales revenue is like there's 3 years from now. It's after 3 years from now. So the net number is only 35. We totally think that's not worth to invest in the game industry. And she's gonna talk about the selling to the hotbed.
Let's look at the option of finish the game and then sell to hotbed entertainment. So the total cost of this option will be 145 million, and the future revenue is about 74 million. So that will lead us to the net loss of 71 million. And so here's a comparison of those two options. So we can earn 35 million in 3 years from now with that. And then if we sell it to the hotbed entertainment, and get a net loss of 71 million in 18 months. So are there any better options? And David's gonna talk about that.
So let's have a recap of where we're at. Mark Bell's contract cost us $45 million. $30 million now, $15 million on sales targets. And we have an offer from Hotbat Entertainment for $50 million plus 10% royalties on Ultimate Champion, provided we finish the game in 18 months, which could be a considerable investment. So the details of the divestiture, we had a couple objectives. The first objective was we wanted to get out of Mark's contract with as few payments as possible. We also wanted to spend as little as we could on game completion. We feel like it's a black hole. And we wanted to leave the sale with cash to invest. When we thought about Mark's contract, we went over 1 million different possibilities. We started from scratch. And it is a considerable liability. The simplest and only guaranteed option is to just buy his contract. We give Mark Bell $30 million and part ways. That is the simplest and, like I said, the only guaranteed way out of his contract. Hotbat's offer is currently, it's just unacceptable. They really want to buy a Ferrari for 20 bucks. It doesn't make any sense. So our recommendation is to sell now. Ideally, we'd like to receive $100 million for the game in its current state. We realize that's high, but it's a good point for starting negotiations. That 74 million number comes from the 50 million they've offered and the net present value of the receipts that we talked about earlier. And at 50 million, that pays for the tangible hardware and items and information that we've accumulated in 2 years, and 30 million to get out of Mark Bell's contract. So we feel like that's our floor. That's break even, get out of there, done deal. The sum of all thrills, like we talked about, is a roller coaster simulator. And you are hanging at the end of a KUKA robotic arm while you and a friend are flying through a roller coaster that you made. It is a blast. There's only 2 or 3 things people want to do after they get done. They want to ride it again, they want to do it with another friend, and they want to build another one. Does it make sense? The ride costs approximately $20 million to construct. Estimated annual revenue is $7 million over 5 periods at a discount rate of 10%, 21 and 6.54 for IRR and NPV.
For the Raytheon part. So real quickly, Raytheon supports the STEM program, which is educating science, technology, engineering, math. It's a great partner to align with their values. They provide scholarships to middle schools and high schools, for example. And the next part, so you're in the ride. So like, let's say you're in the line, basically, and what's really cool about and unique about this is you get to create your own ride, and then you get to ride it. So the fun part is, an example of this is you build it up. You can use calculus. You can use all sorts of stuff to build curves, how fast you want to go, and all you need to do is click here. Right click, zoom in, and just need to do, and so basically it's just, of course there's like music and stuff, but basically, you know, each kind of turn you go around, you got like this pool, you got like wind blowing in your face, and it's a ride that you create. So it's something that's not like the same single ride that you keep going over and over again. It's something that's new, it's exciting, you can have different scenery, and it's, I know it's, compared to everything else, we highly recommend this. But that's pretty much it.
Enjoy your ride. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. You know, one thing I always love about PwC is you guys are always looking out for one another. I'm sure you guys know that Raytheon is a PwC audit client, so good work trying to drum up business for them. So let me make sure I understand. So I guess the conclusion is sell Bell Games, but you don't like the hot bet opportunity. So sell it, but sell it to somebody else for a minimum of $50 million, and then use that money or other capital to buy one of those rides from Raytheon. Is that right?
I believe that's all right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Just wanted to make sure I understood. Katie?
Yeah, just so I'm clear on the ride, that's something that's already developed. We wouldn't need to invest any money in making it.
No, that is at Epcot Center right now.
Okay. Okay, so what would be your guys' recommendation if we were to go to market right now with Bell Games and we could not get a $50 million purchase price? Think we should stall? Do you think we should start looking at investing more into it? Just hold? I guess I'm worried with the $100 million seems like a high target. We already have this offer from Hotbat. I'm kind of concerned that that might be the best we can get.
Well, if 100 million is the top of negotiations,
Right.
that's the entry number, and we look to meet somewhere in the middle between 150.
Yep.
The 74 million is actually what they've already offered us, because it's the same 50 and then just 10% on the receipts. We just want it now. We don't want to even have anything to do with it at the end, because we really don't think that the game itself is going to be that winner. The 180 million number we came up with was for recently released online games that were in the news because they were successful. So the investment of a game that he's talking about, and then Chris did a lot of research on the gaming industry, and the type of machine, the Kinect motion sensor machine, those are a significant investment.
So to answer your question, if we were to receive an offer lower than 50 million, I think by far the best choice would be to kind of weather the storm. Maybe keep it at its current budget and maybe get that down as low as possible. Keep it at the lowest budget until, you know, maybe you see kind of the light at the end of the tunnel at the end of this 3 years, but it's just not realistic to invest in it within the next 3 or 4 years.
Okay, thanks.
Is there an opportunity at all, did you guys consider to kind of take this type of ride idea and do some sort of in-house development? Or is it, do we want to follow in the footsteps of Epcot, or is there potential partnering with like a Raytheon and developing something specifically for us?
The technology comes from Raytheon.
Okay.
Epcot partnered with them because they saw how cool it was.
Right. Do we want to buy the same exact ride that Epcot has?
There's only one ride so far in Disneyland, and if we buy it right now, we'll be the second, has this ride.
And once we get it, I mean, we have options, of course, to improve it and invest it and make it like maybe slightly different, maybe add on a few things. But like Zhugang was saying, it's like it will be the second one. and we can either by putting a different location and stuff. So I think that would be good enough for now.
And more important is this the family theme park is a theme park, and that's part of theme park. It's definitely enhance the whole effect of theme park. If we develop, if we go to a game industry, that seems that really doesn't match.
All right, thanks PwC, great job.
Thank you.
Thank you.